Well, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. So what I've done today is this is the next morning. I've come out again, and as you can see, we've got more overcast skies than we had yesterday. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to show you doing minimalist photography during the day, because when you're doing this sort of shot, I find it's really easy, especially as we had last night where there's absolutely very little movement in the sea itself. It's almost flat calm anyway. So to use something like a 6-stop filter or a 10-stop filter is no great issue, as it just smooths the whole scene out. And I've come to a little area where we're in a kind of a bay scenario. There's lots of these little peninsulas and islands again. There's also some channel markers, as well as some ladders that go down into the sea for people to go and bathe in. And those are the ideal things that will work really, really well for long exposures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bit of a scout round, see what I can find. There's also some rocks, as you can see behind me there, that are just sticking out into the sea. Now that might work quite well as like a square crop, something really, really simple, just with the rocks and then the sea smoothed out as well. So I'll have a bit of a wander around, see what I can find. Once I get something again, I'll bring you to the back of the camera and walk you through the whole situation. Now, the reason I quite like this style of photography is because it allows you to get out and shoot during the day, where normally you'd be out in it, be too harsh to actually shoot because the conditions would be too bright. This sort of scenario allows you to get out and shoot no matter what, because you can put that 10-stop filter on, block out all that excess light, slow the scene down and come away with some really nice minimalist images. So what I've got lined up here is I've got an island off to the right hand side of my frame. I've got a bit of a peninsula off to the left, which is in front of me here, and then I've got some more islands off in the distance. And because it's overcast today, although you were getting blue sky as well, there is blue sky in amongst it, it's adding a bit of interest in the sky above, and you've got kind of it works really well, it contrasts really well against the greys of the sky and the grey of the water, because it's reflecting back off each other. So I think keeping those tones relatively similar, having a really simple image in front of you is going to work well together, I feel anyway. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. So there's that island just off to the right hand side of the frame, the peninsula off to the left here, and I think that balances quite well against each other. And then you've got those little section of islands running along behind it there with the cloud and detail above. And then this water is basically blank open space, but it's got a nice curve right round this section of the image. And I think if I slow that down enough and smooth that water out, it'll simplify it enough just to give it a nice sort of ethereal feel. So what I'm going to do here is pop the 10-stop filter on. Always, I recommend this. Make sure you clean your filters. Make sure there's no marks or anything or any dust spots on your filters, because you don't want to have to faff about and remove that after the effect. And especially if you're down at the coast, bits of sand or anything like that, try and blow them off rather than wipe them off, just in case you scratch it across the glass. There we go. Right, pop that on. And let's see what we're looking at now. Yeah, looking at this, we're going to get a 20-second exposure with a 10-stop filter. And that's at f16 ISO 100. So we'll just take that image now. Now sometimes you may have to remove the filter entirely to be able to focus on a point, but because it's bright sunshine day, generally what will happen is you'll be able to focus through the filter no problem. But just bear in mind, as the light drops, you may have to remove the filter, focus first, and then pop the filter back on. And I think that works quite nicely. Really simple, really straightforward, nothing to it. And you can move around, you can try different aspect ratios, or you can crop it and post to see what works best, or have something in your mind how you want it to feel. Sometimes I feel as though a square crop works quite well for this sort of shot, but I've framed this up as a 16:9, and it's just really straightforward and simple. So as you can hopefully see, this is the shot I've got lined up. I'm going to use these stairway down into the sea from here, a bit of this boardwalk which curves around, and then all open space over this side. Again, I'm just going to smooth the water out as much as possible for a nice clean simple image, but this is going to be my main focal point. So with this shot, I've used the 10 stop again, and what I'm going to do is I've taken like a narrow strip panorama. I'm going to also take a 16:9 as well as a square crop as well, just so I can kind of have visualize what it's going to look like. Then when I get it back in post, if I need to make any minor adjustments, it's quite simple to move it small amounts from there on in. So yeah, the ladder's off to the right hand side of the frame here. Then I've got all this wide open space of water just there, and then the island off in the background, and some of these nice puffy clouds up above there, just to give it a little bit more interest. Right guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'll pop the couple of images I've taken up on screen now. Main takeaway from today really is don't be afraid to get out even in harsh conditions, bright sunlight or anything like that. You can still make use of it. Use a 10 stop filter, slow your shutter speed down, and make use of the light and conditions you've got. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.